I was right. It was the manubrium. This is the manubrium, the gladiolus. The gladiolus is the short sword that the Spanish used, hence the term gladiator. And I think this is the ensiform cartilage? I can't find that. But I keep an anatomy book up on a music stand over here, and when I'm working on an area, I work with the bones and think about the bones and think about the muscle groups, and I'm certainly always striving to learn and relearn and memorize, and it seems like with the muscles and bones of the body, I never quite always have it down. I learn something new every time. This is Dr. Paul Richet and translated by Robert Beverly Hale, the two giants in anatomy. You should always refer to these guys. But when working, I like to think about the anatomy, the bone structure, how the eyes and, well, let's say every bony structure in your body, the bony structures in your body that people have difficulties with, but if you understand the bones, you can understand how to express them. The bony areas in your body that need expression are the face is a bony structure in your body, the back of the hands, the knees, and the feet. And if you understand the bony structures of all of these, then you can certainly begin to represent them with authority. Now, with direct carving, Glenn Ward last night said, "Pete, I can't wait to see what it starts to look like." And I told him, well, I can't either. I said, I don't know what it's going to look like, but I can kind of guess. What I try to do is make sure that nothing is square and parallel. Parallel lines just grate against me. I always try and slip the line just slightly. So I've got to latch onto something that's going to give me point of reference. So this, what do they call it, sternal notch right here, right at the top of the manubrium. I'm going to get that established probably first, and then start working with everything else. Now, this is going to be just kind of a neck and head. We're not going to have too much of a chest on it, although we'll have a little bit. I really don't know how I'm going to approach it other than working with a lot of intuition. I like how this is opening up. Now, this is parallel, and this is parallel. And I want to break up that parallelness. But that will come with time. Also, it seems to be flat. I want to twist it, put a twist in it. So you have a massive coil with subcoils, putting a twist into it. That's how I'm thinking there. So let's see how today's going to go. And I think I'll go to the anatomy and go to the, they call that the pit of the neck or the jugular notch. This pit of the neck or the jugular notch right here. So let's go ahead and play with this just a little bit and see what we can get going here today. I'm going to put this right up here on my music stand, and we'll put a secondary light on this today a little bit, and bring in my clay model so I can look at it. Now, my clay model has got the same lighting on it as my stone, but I'm using the clay model just as something to look at and more or less, how should I say, divine through it, because it's not going to be that model. It'll be different. So we'll see. This will be fun. We'll play with it for a while. I want to say something to you. See me working without a respirator, and I worked with Dr. Fairbanks when I was a young lad back in the late 60s and early 70s. And he was a doctor, and he told me that you can't get silicosis from marble dust because marble dust actually metabolizes in the body. Where you get silicosis is a particle that doesn't metabolize, like silica, fused silica sand, anything under 32 microns, because that is the width between the cilia. Can't push out. So that's why asbestos stays in your lungs, and that's why fused silica stays in your lungs. Plaster will metabolize and be digested, and it'll actually, so plaster is fairly harmless unless there's additives in it. And this is pure calcium carbonate. This is what you take for Tums. In Vitruvius's 10 Book of Architectures, he talks about a cure from a place called Magnesia in Greece. He said that they quarry the marble in Magnesia and they make a milk out of it. Now this is about, I'd say about 70 BC when he wrote 10 Books of Architecture to, who was it? Actually it was right around the time of Christ. Augustus Caesar he wrote to. So I'm not concerned about this. I was in the hospital last February for 4 days, and I asked them to take my calcium readings. My calcium readings were low. They said I could have even used calcium. Yet I work with the stone all the time, so I'm not concerned about the repercussions of it as being a toxic. So one of the beauties of this is it's non-toxic. In fact, it's good for you. It'll strengthen your fingernails. My fingernails are a little weak because I drink a lot of coffee. So, okay, just another little tidbit. Don't undercut too early. Just give yourself a broad piece of mass. Start here. You can be more precise, more precise. That edge is where you keep. The edge that you work is where you start working precisely. But as I start kind of behind the ear, don't undercut the ear. Just kind of keep it a big, large mass till you can work it down. Then you've got to wrap around the neck and start reducing some of this. This is the chamfer right there.